Chapter 19. Lily. I don't know why I brought it with me. Usually it stays safely in my room at home, but I feel like I'm failing, so perhaps I brought it for moral support. It burns a hole in my bag as I walk through the quiet office, and I'm almost positive that everyone can see it glaring like a beacon in my bag. But I'm sure that's just my imagination. There are few people here yet, and nobody seems to be paying me any attention. I could probably walk anywhere I wanted and not be stopped. In fact, I'm tempted to wander into the finance department and see if I can discover something since Carrie hasn't gotten any information yet. Or if she hasn't shared it. No, I can't think like that. Carrie is trustworthy, I'm sure of it. And I can't just go waltzing into finance because if someone was there and asked me questions, I would have no answer. Still, I'm tempted, but I keep my head down and hurry to my office instead. When I'm sure I'm alone, I slip it out of my bag and run my hand over the soft, unassuming brown leather. Though it would look like a normal journal to anyone else, it means much more to me. I'm trying. I promise, I whisper, as my fingers trace the name engraved on the bottom right corner. I just need some help, something to put it all together. I sit there for a moment as if expecting some auditory clue or something, but nothing comes. With a sigh, I slip the journal back into my purse, tuck it into the locking drawer, and pocket the key. Maybe some coffee will help. The soft hum of the computers and copy machines floats on the air as the office begins coming to life. Not all the lights are on yet, and as I turn toward the kitchen, I notice it's the only light on down this hall. The door is open, and I slow down as I hear noises coming from inside. As I reach the doorway, I see Janice at the coffee maker with 2 mugs. I don't know why I pause, but something keeps me from stepping into the kitchen. Instead, I watch as she pulls something from her pocket and pours it into one mug. It appears to be some sort of white powder. Is it sugar? But why would she have it in her pocket? I watch a moment longer, but she simply adds some creamer and then the coffee. I should probably walk away and get my coffee later, but I have to see if I can figure out what I just witnessed. "Good morning, Janice," I say, entering the kitchen with a smile on my face that I hope appears genuine. "Getting some caffeine to start the day?" She looks up at me, and I swear I can see suspicion in her eyes. "Indeed, you're here early." "Yes, I thought I would get an early start on the project." I open the cupboard and grab a mug for myself. "Ah, well, that's very dedicated. We certainly appreciate that here." She gives me a nod and then disappears out the door. As I pour the coffee into my mug, I can't help but ponder what I saw. What did she put in the mug? And who is she giving it to? I realize I can probably find out if I follow her, so I quickly add some creamer and then head back toward my office. I bypass my door and continue to Janice's office, but it's empty, which means she must be giving the coffee to someone. Though my heart is pounding, I continue a little farther and see Janice in Sarah's office. But was the modified coffee Janice's or Sarah's? And what was in it? I hurry back to my office and shut the door before pulling the journal out again. There has to be something in here I've missed. Something that will help me make sense of what's happening now. But there's nothing. Suspicions and fears, but nothing else. Maybe Carrie will be able to make sense of it when she comes in. Though I try to focus on work, my eyes keep shifting to the clock at the top right of the computer. When 9 a.m. hits, I pause my work to head to Carrie's office, but her door is closed and the light is off. I glance around and see Mark in his office. He looks up when I knock on his door. "What's up, Lily?" "Have you seen Carrie? I have a question for her." He shakes his head. "No, I haven't seen her. Maybe she called in sick today?" "Oh, okay. Thanks." Though I suppose it's possible she's really sick, the fact that she's not here worries me. I head back to my office, shut the door and pull out my cell phone, punching in Carrie's number as I do. But she doesn't pick up. Perhaps she's just asleep, but the incessant ringing bothers me. I'll have to wait until the end of the day to check on her, but at least that will give her time to rest up if she really is sick. When 5 p.m. rolls around, I turn off my computer and head to my car, barely saying a word to anyone on the way. Thankfully, no one stops me, and half an hour later, I'm knocking on Carrie's door. My stomach begins to knot when there's no answer to the knock. I pull out my cell and call her again, but she doesn't answer. I don't know what's happened to Carrie, but I feel like it's nothing good. So I punch 911 into the phone and take a deep breath. 911, what's your emergency? The voice on the other end says. I'm not sure it's an emergency, but I have a coworker who didn't show up to work today. I tried calling her but got no answer, and I'm at her front door and she isn't answering the knock either. Can someone do a welfare check? Can I get your name and the location? My name is Lily Stevens. I'm at 6322 Pine Street, apartment 113. Thank you, Miss Stevens. The officer will be there shortly. She makes me stay on the line until the officer arrives, which feels weird because I don't know this lady, so there are long pauses of silence in between her questions. Finally, I see the police cruiser pull into the parking lot and I hang up with the 911 operator. Before the cop gets out of the car, I see a man hurrying towards us from the direction of the office. Though short and balding, he walks with a purpose, and a set of keys swings from his hand. He must be the manager. The man reaches the cop car as the door opens, and the officer steps out. My chest tightens a bit at the sight of the familiar uniform. I doubt he'll recognize me, but cops always make me a little nervous. However, I have to do this for Carrie's sake, and my own. After a brief exchange between the two men that I can't hear, they turn and head in my direction. The police officer is tall and thin, built like a runner. He has a head of dark hair that looks like he spends hours getting it to look just right in the morning, and a large cleft in his chin. Side by side, the two give off a comical look, reminding me of the old duo Abbott and Costello. The officer speaks first. I'm Officer Diaz. Are you Lily Stevens? Yes, sir. I haven't seen my coworker Carrie all day, and she hasn't answered her phone or the door. I'm worried about her. He nods and looks toward the apartment. Has this ever happened before? I shake my head. Not since I've known her, but that hasn't been long. I just started a few weeks ago, I add, when he cocks his head at me. But you're worried she's not answering the phone? It is clear from his tone that he doesn't believe me, but I try to keep my cool. Yes, I'm worried about her. We were working on something at work, and it's not like her not to check in or to ignore calls. He turns to the manager. Have any of the neighbors reported anything? The manager shakes his head. No, but Ms. Brigman was a quiet tenant. No trouble and kept to herself. The officer nods once more. Okay, I'll see what I can find out. You two stay here while I check it out. I don't argue, as I have no need to see inside anyway. I know it can't be good. The officer knocks on the door just as I had, and when he receives no answer, he begins trying to peer in the windows. I could mention that I've already tried that, but I doubt he would listen. So I simply watch, knowing all of the blinds on Carrie's windows are drawn. I'm going to need you to open the door, the officer says when he returns to us. The manager nods, flips to the right keys, and follows the officer to the door. As soon as it's unlocked, the officer has the manager step back, draws his gun, and enters the apartment. Though I know the news will probably not be good, I find myself wanting to run into the apartment and begin yelling for Carrie. The officer exits a moment later and says something to the manager. I can't hear the words, but from the manager's disgusted response, I know they aren't good. The manager stalks back toward the office, and Diaz makes his way over to me. "I'm sorry," he says. "Your friend is deceased."